Welcome to the ESI Africa studio, broadcasting from Inlet, Africa. Today I am speaking with Paul Masrigwa, who is the MD of UEDCL in Uganda, which is the distribution company.
Yeah.
Welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much.
So I want to start off with looking a little bit into what is it that your organization does, your company, and what is it that you've been focusing on for the past year?
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here with Inlet Africa on this occasion. So my company is a power distribution company. So it is 100% owned by the government of Uganda. So we are a parastatal, but we are supposed to operate and generate our own cash. So our main focus is power distribution across the country. Although some of the areas, for purpose of attracting private capital investment in the sector, they were concessioned for a private operator, and my company remained with the license ownership of the asset. The concession is a 20 years period that is running up to 2025. My main focus is to see how we improve the network and to improve capital plus other operational activities. Now, there are some areas which are not concessioned to the private operator, mainly outside the urban centers by that time. So the government has excellent power in those areas, and a government institution, which is UDCL that I head, we are the one doing active distribution. So our main focus of recent has been how to extend power, but quality power, to the population in order to create that power for productive use. And we are seeing a significant change in how business are being done, even in rural areas. The lives of the community have improved. Schools can have power 24/7. Hospitals can do the service to the population, and generally the entire infrastructure. Industrial hubs are coming up from each and every region of the country because they can access power that is fairly of good quality. However, there is a lot that I have to do because we've extended the lines, but in most cases, it is a single line. So now we are looking at having dual, what we can call N-1 or N-2, that in case the main supply is out of action, you can easily have a route to avoid load shedding. You are aware how load shedding can affect the business and the community at large. So the purpose for my coming here in this exhibition and CEO's forum is to exchange ideas, how we make the service that we provide that's very critical to the country reliable. How do we make it commercially viable, that the sector can finance itself? Plus also looking at the new developments in technology. Because utility, especially electricity distribution, is evolving over time with new technologies, with new concepts to make things efficient. Because what the customer needs is to see light. What you do behind, they're not interested, but you need to do a lot, especially on the side of technology. Now, because of technology, especially in my institution, we have implemented concepts that have enabled us to have cash collections up to 99.8%, mainly on the prepaid environment, that can work out concepts to ease the customer payment and at the utility. So we are seeing our cash flow changing on the dynamics. The only problem that we are solving with the policymakers is how do we make the balance sheet sustainable?
Right.
Because the balance sheet is affected by the tariff. Mind you, we are after providing reasonable tariff. But investing in utilities is quite an expensive venture, that if all the costs in the balance sheet on the network are included in the tariff at once, it can cause a catastrophe, higher tariff, and business cannot run the show because of that imbalance. So we are in that stage of looking for a concept and a formula. How do we have full cost recovery, but at the same time having a reasonable tariff? So with that, I submit.
Right.
Thank
So
you.
you've covered a lot there in terms of the what the business has been focusing on, what your strategy is, and the importance of supplying quality electricity to the population. So what is the one thing that you are taking away from the Enlit Africa discussions that you've participated in back to the business that you could potentially implement?
Looking at complex issues and finding solutions for them. What you might look at simple might be complex. So it is something easy that you can, this is simple. But to have a solution, it could be a complex solution, but if you get it, it is a game changer. So mainly from this exhibition and conference, it is the importance of deploying technology. I've been briefed on so many stores, but the issue of technology, advancement, monitoring your network, doing work plans properly scheduled on the information, detailed analysis, data analysis in utilities has become very, very critical. All the way from when you install, for example, a transformer, the maintenance schedules, the heating temperatures, how the transformer is behaving. So it can give you a strategy to manage your network very well without the firefighting element. We have a problem that in the past, before people appreciating technology, most of the network were maintained on the firefighting concept. A dam has failed, go and fix it. A pole has failed, go and fix it. A transformer has failed, go and fix it. But from this discussion and the technology now that has come on board, I think utilities can manage it better, especially mine. Thank you.
That is so good to hear.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to be focusing a lot on predictive maintenance of your assets.
Fine. Good. Yes. Because I realize if you don't plan for preventive maintenance, you spend a lot of your time running up and down. And that firefighting concept, you don't get a solution, but you're creating more crisis. So with this exposure, preventive maintenance gives you time to think and for a better solution. To think and implement a better solution in the right time without panicking. It's very complicated in any business to fix any issue on a panic mode. And that has been a big problem in most of the utilities anyway, especially where you operate from Africa, because sometimes preventive maintenance, we take it as if it is creating capital outlay, cash outlay, without having value, or creating some, you can call it, redundant assets. Or for example, if there's a substation that needs maintenance in the next 20 years, you have to have a redundant transformer or spare available 5 years before the life expectancy of that network. So because of tariff issues, how can you have an asset redundant? So you wait for the asset to be properly utilized at the end of the day. So by the time it goes out of action, you don't have an alternative. Then you go in the firefighting mode. Now, the lead time to get that asset could it be 1 year. So how do you solve the solution for the population in that 1 year? You might end up having an alternative temporary solution, but very expensive, especially for long lead items. If I can talk about generation plants, transmission lines, I'm seeing load shedding here in South Africa, per se. It happened to Uganda some time back, 19, 20 years ago. It was a catastrophe. So you could have power for 8 hours a day. So what happened was to invite in quick fix. Quick fix were thermal plants. the tariff just increased by 80%, 120% in 3 years. And what happened? The economy was affected. So that's the problem of quick fix. But if you adopt preventive maintenance, preventive planning, you're in a position to fix and invest in time within the available strategy without affecting the tariff beyond your means. I submit.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Paul. I think under your leadership, the company is going to do really well.
Thank you very much.
To all our viewers, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video.